Right now, underneath your feet, there are tunnels. Not subway tunnels, not sewers, actual hidden cities. Entire underground worlds that most Americans don't know exist. We are talking full streets, hospitals, command centers, all buried. And guys, the government did not just stumble into this by accident. This was planned, funded, and kept secret for decades. There are underground facilities in this country big enough to hold thousands of people. Some of them have their own power plants, water systems, and grocery stores. Trust me, what they built underground will absolutely blow your mind. And the reason they built it? That is the part nobody talks about. And here's where it gets really disturbing. This was not just about survival. There was a moment in American history when everything nearly ended. Not slowly, not gradually, literally overnight, in minutes. That terror is what forced the United States underground. The full story involves secret deals, political panic, and buried billions. What you are about to hear will permanently change how you see this country. If you want to uncover the hidden truths buried beneath American soil, hit that subscribe button on History Lab right now. Because what comes next is the part they really did not want you to know.
It all started with one terrifying moment, August 29, 1949. The Soviet Union detonated its very first nuclear bomb. America had assumed it had years before this would happen. Honestly, the shock inside Washington was absolute and total, because now there was a real enemy with a real weapon of mass destruction. American cities could be wiped off the map in a single afternoon, and leaders knew the surface world offered almost zero protection. So they asked one very dark question: what if we go underground? Wait, this next part shocked even historians when it came to light. The government quietly launched a program called Operation Alert in 1954. They ran fake nuclear attack drills across dozens of American cities. Millions of citizens had to stop, drop, and pretend the bombs were falling. But behind the scenes, the real plan was far extreme. Presidents and generals were going to disappear underground while civilians stayed up top. No one was supposed to know that part, and for years, almost no one did. The government carved a secret bunker deep into a Virginia mountain, Raven Rock Mountain Complex. They called it the Underground Pentagon. Built in the early 1950s, it was massive enough to run an entire war from inside. It had its own diesel generators, springs, cafeterias, and sleeping quarters. But the truth about these underground cities is far darker than you think. Raven Rock was just the beginning. The government went even further. They secretly built a bunker beneath the Greenbrier Resort in West Virginia. This was a luxury hotel where rich families vacationed every summer. And beneath those elegant ballrooms sat a hidden facility for Congress. The entire United States Senate and House could relocate there overnight. It had a massive blast door, decontamination showers, and a television studio. For 30 years, the hotel staff maintained this secret without a single leak. You won't believe this. It was not declassified until a journalist exposed it in 1992. The government immediately shut the facility down the same week the story broke.
They had spent decades preparing for a war they prayed would never happen. And here is where it gets really disturbing. This was only the government's plan. Cities themselves started going underground for completely different reasons. In Seattle, workers literally raised the street level after a catastrophic fire in 1889. They just built a brand new city on top of the ruins of the old one. The original storefronts, sidewalks, and doorways stayed buried underneath. Today, you can walk tours through that underground ghost city beneath Seattle's streets. Meanwhile, Houston built an underground pedestrian tunnel system downtown. Stretching over 6 miles, it connects nearly 100 city blocks together. People commute, eat lunch, and shop entirely underground in brutal Texas heat. Chicago did the same thing, building a network of freight tunnels under the loop. Those tunnels secretly carried mail and coal beneath one of America's busiest cities. Wait, the Cold War tunnels were on a completely different level of insane. The crown jewel of American underground construction was Mount Weather. Hidden in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, it looks like a normal facility from outside. Inside, it is a fully functioning underground city, self-contained and self-sufficient. It has its own streets, buildings, a reservoir, a mass transit system, even a crematorium. Mount Weather was designed to preserve American civilization after a nuclear strike. A shadow government would take over from here if Washington ever went dark. I'm telling you, this place had enough food and water to last for years underground. Bureaucrats had pre-assigned beds waiting for them in case the bombs started falling. Real people, real rooms, real plans, all buried inside a mountain in Virginia. And the American public had absolutely no idea any of it existed. But here is the angle that nobody talks about. What about ordinary Americans? The government told citizens to build backyard bomb shelters and stock canned food. Schools ran duck and cover drills, like hiding under a desk would stop a nuclear bomb. Meanwhile, leaders had luxury underground bunkers with air conditioning and hot meals.
The gap between what they told the public and what they planned for themselves was enormous. Historians call it continuity of government, the idea that power must survive anything. Critics call it something much simpler, saving themselves and leaving everyone else behind. The psychological damage of the Cold War era ran incredibly deep in American life. Entire generations grew up genuinely believing nuclear annihilation was right around the corner. That fear shaped culture, politics, architecture, and how Americans thought about safety. And the underground cities were the physical monuments to that collective American terror. And here is where it gets really disturbing. Some of these places are still active today. Raven Rock is still operational right now, maintained by thousands of military employees. Mount Weather still exists as FEMA's primary continuity of operations center today. The underground infrastructure built during the Cold War never went away, it evolved. After September 11th, the government expanded these facilities with new urgency and funding. New tunnels were drilled, new bunkers were reinforced, new communication systems were installed. There are facilities we almost certainly do not know about even now in 2025. No one talks about this, but the underground America is bigger today than ever before. The fears that drove men to build cities beneath the earth never actually disappeared. They just got quieter, and the digging continued in the dark where no one could see. What started as Cold War paranoia became permanent American infrastructure hidden from view. Think about that the next time you walk down a normal American street. Somewhere beneath you, there may be a corridor that was built to outlast civilization itself. America did not just prepare for the end of the world, it built a city for after. And the people in charge made absolutely sure they would be first through the door. That is the real story of why America went underground: survival, power, and secrecy. And honestly, knowing this changes the way you look at everything above the surface. If History Lab just showed you something you never knew existed, subscribe right now, because this channel goes where the history books refuse to go. Drop a comment below and tell me, did you know any of these underground cities were real? The truth is always buried deeper than you think.